Most basic motor controls involve contactors, which are really nothing more than an on-off switch for a motor. They're just designed to handle a whole lot of power. But sometimes we don't want to just send the signal out to the contactor, turn it on, and say, I hope the motor's running, I hope the contactor received the signal. So we want some sort of basic information coming back, and that's something that we call feedback. Feedback is an essential component of modern control systems, but how do we do that from a device that's as simple as a contactor? There's no processor to figure out a signal, figure out the amount of voltage or current, and send that back to a controller. So we use what's called an auxiliary contact block. Sometimes this just is abbreviated to an aux contact. Sometimes you'll hear that phrase referring to these devices on a contactor. They can be all over a contactor depending on the model. Here's one that's mounted to the top. We simply slide it off the top of the contactor. Some others are attached to the side. Some others are built into it completely, which means you don't have to buy an extra contact to attach onto it. But for these ones that are module, or the ones that are built in, we usually find a couple of options. And most of the basic ones have a couple of contact sets, and a contact set always involves two contacts, and they're termed either normally open or normally closed, NO and NC. Now on this one I see an NO and an NC, which means these two terminals are normally open. Now, if you recall reading or hearing about NO and NC, what that means is that if the contactor is off, de-energized, the NO is O, or open. The normal position refers to what it is when the contactor is off. Normally closed means that while the contactor is off, electricity is flowing. So either way, we can get a feedback signal coming back to the controller that says not only did we send the signal to the contactor, it definitely received the signal and energized. These ones that are attached to the side are also the same. This one involves a set on the top and on the bottom. The top set is normally open, the bottom set is normally closed on these types of contact blocks. These auxiliary contacts often can be mounted to either side, depending on how and where we need to install it in the control cabinet. And when they're on top, we just have to verify that we've properly aligned the wires, not just for the contact set, but also for this auxiliary set that supplies the feedback. If it says NO, shouldn't you be able to use that as another power conductor? No. The size of these auxiliary contacts is not designed to handle the amount of power rated for the contactor. When there's 3 power terminals, you use those 3 power terminals to supply power to your load, most likely a motor. Do not use the other auxiliary contact set to supply any sort of load. It's meant only for a feedback control signal. If you need more than 3 contact sets, you should probably consider getting another contactor to supply the proper current and voltage rating that you need for your load. But these auxiliary contacts are a great way to be able to provide that initial feedback to ensure that not only did we send the signal to the contactor, but it effectively received the signal and actually energized properly like it was supposed to.